don't you put that knife away, take you and your friends on home?
I'd listen to him if I was you.
You the boss? You just sold loads of those dingies in there, didn't you? You hand over that cash or I'm gonna cut some daylight into you.
The mob boss clenched a cigarette between his lips. He grabbed a Thompson submachine gun and opened fire on the car in a wild, relentless spray. The vehicle lost control and slammed straight into a nearby building until the entire car was riddled with bullet holes. Only then did the boss finally stop. The people inside had completely lost the ability to fight back. But the boss did not kill them, because he knew that if you want to build real authority, you cannot push things too far. Jack watched everything from behind a fence. His eyes were filled with awe. The boss even gave him a quick wink, then walked away like nothing had happened. Jack stared at his disappearing figure, unable to move for a long time. Suddenly, he realized something. He ran into the street and picked up several shell casings and carefully placed them inside his hat. It was the 1930s. Gangsters ruled the streets of America. Gangs were everywhere. They clashed constantly, but they were all in the same business: selling smuggled alcohol. In those days, selling alcohol was illegal in the United States, but the demand was huge, and the profits were massive, so everyone sold it in secret. The most ruthless bootleggers of all were the three Franklin County brothers. The oldest was Howard, the second was Ford. Both were well-known tough guys in the area. The youngest was Jack. He grew up under their protection. Almost no one dared to mess with them, but one day, just after Ford finished checking the inventory, the newly appointed police chief Rex walked in. Ford puffed on his cigar and asked what this was about.
Pete, who the hell is this son of a bitch?
Me? I'm the one who's going to make your life real difficult from now on if you don't toe the line, country boy.
He poked Ford in the chest and told him that if he wanted to keep doing business, he had to pay protection money. But Ford was not buying it.
Can I help you, son?
Yeah. You send your clown with the bow tie around here again, and I guarantee you'll personally pull a cleaver out of his fucking skull. You understand me?
He was the most ruthless crime boss in town. He was about to bury two of his own men alive in a double cross.
Wait. My name's Jack Bondray. I come from Blackwater Station.
The moment the boss heard his name, he nearly pissed himself. He rushed to invite him into his office. He kept apologizing nonstop. Then he pulled out $1 million as compensation. After the man left satisfied, the boss smashed his own thug to death with a shovel. The reason he was so afraid of that so-called nobody was because the man had two terrifying older brothers. The eldest was Howard, the second was Hardy. They were infamous hitmen in the area. Rumor even said they were impossible to kill, and all of that was because of Hardy. He had once joined the army. His entire unit was wiped out. He was the only one who came back alive, even after being shot multiple times. He was still walking around like nothing happened. What was even crazier, the enemy once slit his throat. He did not die. He walked more than 20 kilometers to the hospital, so no one in town dared to mess with them. The three brothers also kept a low profile. They never went looking for trouble. They quietly ran a moonshine business. But today a new sheriff came to town, a man who did not know his place. With powerful people backing him up, he did not take Hardy seriously at all. He walked right up to him and threatened him.
I'm the one who's going to make your life real difficult from now on if you don't toe the line, country boy.
Don't you ever touch me again.
6 American women were captured by a native tribe, even though they begged for their lives. The warriors killed them one by one, but the last woman did not show fear. She even lifted her head on her own. The tribal chief blew a whistle. He signaled his men to spare her, to test whether she truly feared death. The chief pressed a knife against her throat.
You will die one day, just like me. But your pain will be worse. Your heart savage. Because I have lived a decent life. Now I will see what comes next.
Her eyes showed no terror at all, so he decided to let her live. He thought she could be used to bear children. In the 19th century, many American settlers moved west. A man named Bridger built a trading post on the frontier. He called it Fort Bridger. One day, a mother and her son arrived there. They wanted to cross the Utah Territory and reach Crooks to find the boy's father. They needed a guide. The mother's name was Sarah. The boy's name was Devin. Bridger introduced her to a local man named Reed. But even after Sarah offered $750, Reed said the trip was too dangerous, so he turned her down. After they returned to the fort, Bridger found another group for Sarah. It was a wagon train led by a man named Jacob. Jacob and his wife agreed to help her. They planned to leave the next morning, but their conversation was secretly overheard by another man. The next day, Jacob's wagon train set out. Sarah followed behind with her son. Reed also rode in on his horse. He could not resist the $750, but Sarah no longer needed him. Still, no one knew what dangers lay ahead. so Reed decided to follow them anyway. A group of Native American children came to the battlefield to scavenge. The ground was covered with the bodies of dead Americans. A little girl noticed a pair of leather boots on one of the corpses. She bent down to pull them off and take them with her. But the moment she touched the body, the dead man seemed to come back to life. Terrified, she screamed and ran away. The man who had risen from the dead looked like a demon. All the native children were so scared that they dropped everything and fled. The man's name was Jacob. He stood there in shock, unable to accept that his companions were now corpses. The day before, a group of masked raiders had attacked his pioneer caravan. Jacob had been overpowered by one of the attackers. Even though he fought back with everything he had, his scalp was still cut open. By sheer luck, he had fallen face down on the ground. That allowed the torn skin to seal itself instead of bleeding him to death. After regaining consciousness, Jacob began searching for his wife's body. To his relief, he could not find her anywhere in the camp. That meant she was probably still alive. Just then, he saw a group of riders approaching in the distance. When they got closer, he realized they were 6 Native Americans. He pressed his hands together and dropped to his knees. He begged them to help him find his wife, but the native men did not understand his language. The man who spoke was called Red Feather. He was a Shoshone warrior fighting against the American invaders. Because Jacob already looked worse than death, they decided to let him live and suffer. This man was the bravest warrior among the Indians. When he learned that the Paiute were working for the American Mormons to seize cattle and women, Red Feather flew into a rage. The Paiute leader was still talking about the benefits of cooperating with the Americans. Red Feather shot him dead on the spot. Then his men charged forward and killed several other Paiute. 6 American women standing nearby were terrified. They begged desperately for mercy.
I just want to see my family, my children. Can you please help me? Can you please help me? Please, no.
She felt no sympathy for them. Unlike the other 5 women who panicked, Abby remained remarkably calm. She even raised her neck willingly. This piqued the chief's interest. He decided to take Abby back to the tribe, perhaps to have a child with her. The next day, Abby's husband Jacob tracked them to this place. As a Mormon, Jacob had the support of the Mormon militia, but he didn't know that the massacre had been orchestrated by the militia themselves. They had followed Jacob to ensure there were no survivors. Soon, Jacob saw the cut ropes on the wagon. He realized his wife was still alive. Then they noticed another person nearby who hadn't died the Indian shot by Red Feather the day before. Jacob hurriedly asked what had happened. The Indian said it was all Red Feather's doing. Then he looked toward the Mormons behind him. He had thought his partners would save him, but they feared being exposed and shot him dead on the spot.
He had more to say! 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 Peace, brother! Peace! He was suffering, and we heard enough.